Last time on Content Cop.
Hey, you. Have you seen this creature around here?
No.
Women. Always useless. I had to prevent someone from school joining the United Erotic Roleplay. Oh my...
Savage! A dokituber has gone mad and is trying to start a mutiny from within. Get in there and put a stop to it before it's too late.
Back to the cat, Monica, and we're back in business. And
what we do here is go back.
It's hard being epic in a world of fail. What is up, comrades, and welcome back to another episode of Chen Chop, the show where we talk about other content creators and throw down the hammer of justice upon them. Or some other law-related pun, I don't know. Today's episode of Content Comp is all about the power of positivity and virtue signaling. For those who may not know, virtue signaling is when someone expresses a very basic and lukewarm take that is widely accepted by the majority of the public, such as, for example, racism is bad, homophobia is bad, insert ism is bad, and then parroting these basic platitudes and expecting nothing but universal praise for it, acting like what they said was a stunning and bold and controversial take. You usually find people virtue signaling on platforms like Twitter, but you can in reality find them pretty much anywhere. And today's subject is a case study of what happens when you take virtue signaling to the absolute extreme. Our suspect in question today being a dokituber who proudly boasts a subscriber count of over 10,000 subscribers. How many now? A YouTuber by the name Doki Doki DaEs. He is best known for posting horny clickbaiting videos involving the mod Monica After Story, as well as the other girlfriend Doki mods. Oh wow, another guy who makes gooner bait DDLC videos designed to get horny 15-year-old boys to click on it. No one has ever done this before. Sarcasm aside, if you take a look at this guy's channel, you'll come to quickly find that this guy's entire catalog just looks like a cheap imitation of what Candiella was doing just 3 years ago. But, to give credit where credit is due, DaEs does know how to game the system to achieve a microdose of fame and success. I'm not gonna hate on someone for doing what they gotta do to get that bread. However, that doesn't mean that you are absolved from being criticized. While DaEs is the main subject of today's video, he's not the only one we're going to be talking about, as there are two other accomplices together with DaEs that play a crucial role in the events to follow, of whom I will just simply refer to as the poly. They may not actually be in a relationship, but I mean, you wouldn't be blamed for thinking otherwise. No homophobia. First up to bat is the king of the gooners himself, Aesop, a guy with 900 subs who just a few weeks ago uploaded Sayori Fuda cockborn to YouTube. That is a real sentence that just came out of my mouth. He's also the guy who made the Yuri breastfeeding mod. I don't need to elaborate. Basically, the only thing you really need to know about this guy is that he is a degenerate and a major weirdo with a porn addiction. Next! Last up is the prestigious White Knight of the Poly, Ahil. He's essentially the true embodiment of a Redditor through and through. Pretty much any negative stereotype you can come up with involving Redditors and Reddit mods, this guy fits to an absolute T. He's terminally online, is extremely sensitive to the point of absolute comedy, has some of the most dogshit opinions and takes you will ever hear in your entire life. And to follow up point number 2, can't take an ounce of criticism whatsoever. His greatest hit is being the guy who would die on Incest Hill defending the honor of the incestuous sociopath known as Amanita Acreata for a week straight. Can you just leave this guy alone? This is harassment at this point! Please leave my favorite cousin fucker alone! And here comes Blaze. He's coming in to sweep for the cousin fucker. At Tri-Flame. That is not what I'm saying. Why is a grown-ass man making 3 videos on another grown-ass man who isn't hurting the DDLC community in any way? What? And he just picks a big Monica fan who's married to his cousin. I think he did more than married her. He fucked her. He had kids with her. Alright? He did more than just marry.
Get him out of here! Where's the authorities? Police! Somebody call the police!
And when everyone rightfully gave him shit for it, again, for a week straight, he decided to cry bullying and harassment and leave the internet. Only to return about, 3 or 4 days later and pretend that none of it fazed him at all.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
So these are DaEs' most trusted men, a degenerate porn addict and a crybully Reddit mod. Some would say that I'm, quote, punching down on smaller creators right now, and that I'm being an asshole. And you're totally right. However, A, I don't care, and B, I have very legitimate reasons to be talking about these guys. Let's get into that now, shall we?
The world is being divided now. You've got women and it's on one side, and you got real niggas on the other. Real niggas.
Today's most recent installment of the Doki Doki Holy War starts off in a Discord server known as dokituber Sentral, a server that exists for fellow dokitubers to hang out in, chill, collaborate, etc. Longtime viewers of the channel may recall that a lot of the screenshots that were shown in my late video were actually sourced from this server. Anyways, our story begins when Aesop, the Gooner, uploaded a video titled The End of No Nut November. The video can basically be summarized as basically a critique of the Doki Doki pornography that Aesop is best known for. This is all done through the characters gaining sentience and realizing all the depraved shit that he's been putting them through. And as a result, they decide to confront Aesop and torture him for his sins. All the while, Aesop is like, human expression is beautiful no matter the media, and as long as the person leaves themselves in the work, and that it is made with love and effort, then I will support it. Yeah, I bet you made the Sayori Fudacock porn mod with a lot of love and effort, huh? Basically, this entire video is Aesop's way of saying that he views his videos as art and that he's not going to stop making them no matter what anyone says. Hell, the Dokis could actually become real and sentient and actually conscious of all the shit he's doing, and he would still be making them. It's like, this is where we meet our challenger for today's contest. He is the DDLC community's token black man. Give it up for Jay Killing Gaming! So Jay would see this video and be like, bruh, there's no way that this guy is talking right now. Talk about having absolutely no shame at all. And well, that's what Jay would tell him. And in any other circumstance, this is where everything would have ended. Everyone goes on about their business, goes their separate ways, and it's never brought up again. Except this is a Savage Central video, and more specifically a content cop, so you know that's not where any of this ends. Our main man of the hour, DAYS, decided that enough was enough, and that he was going to take a stand against the big scary black man for insulting his Pookie. He walks into the room, chest puffed up, unwavering confidence, and loudly proclaims to everyone in the server, Jay Killing Gaming, you are a hypocritical bully! And for roughly the next 30 minutes, Jay and Sonny, as well as DAYS and his lapdog, would just continue dishing out petty insults and trying to rage bait one another. The few real interesting things to actually highlight from this whole debacle is that, for one, DAYS's entire reasoning for calling Jay a hypocrite is that he made the mod Doki Doki Triple Trouble, a rom-com mod that features several sex scenes throughout the entire story. And because Jay made Triple Trouble, he is now apparently unable to criticize Aesop for posting straight up porn to YouTube. That would maybe be somewhat valid if Jay was ever actually saying that. Remember that the video that Jay called Shameless was Aesop's own fake critique of his own content. Jay never mentions the Sayori Fudacock video, he never brings it up once. He never brings up any of those videos, it's just that specific one. DAYS is essentially creating this straw man argument, whether through malice or misunderstanding the point entirely, and using this to publicly go after Jay. Another point that DAYS brings up is the notion that apparently both me and Jay bullied Ahil off the internet for 3 days. I find that incredibly funny, considering that Jay never said a word to the guy when the whole he defended Amanita for a week straight situation occurred. And when pressed to show any evidence that Jay did in fact bully Ahil into nearly quitting, DAYS completely ignores this in favor of just continuing to talk more shit. DAYS then says that Jay is, quote, looking down on smaller creators. And when Jay points out that DAYS clearly doesn't like him, clearly looks down on him too, DAYS simply responds saying that, I never looked down upon you. I'm just making observations, that's all. I'm just doing a little bit of noticing. I'm just noticing patterns, that's all. Now, the final thing to really bring up from this combo is that among Sonny's rage baiting, he would also bring up the fact that someone was leaking screenshots of his server to us. Xavier would confront Sonny on this, saying like, bro, why the fuck did you say that? You know this guy is like an unhinged freak, and you're just basically sending him into a paranoid schizo death spiral now. And Sonny's like, nah, bro, it'll be perfectly fine. It was not fine. Hey kids, Uncle Savage here, and I'm here to tell y'all about the wonders of positivity. Being able to see life through the lens of a positive and optimistic mindset can be very beneficial for not only you, but also everyone around you. It can be especially beneficial if you plan on becoming an online content creator, because being able to develop a wholesome, positive community around you is a surefire way to build up good rapport for yourself. However, it can also be a double-edged sword. It can also set an incredibly high moral bar for yourself to live up to, for which evil, toxic people can then use it against you to criticize you and make fun of you if you were to ever slip up in any way whatsoever. But if there's one dokituber out there that is the perfect representation of the power of positivity, it would be my good old buddy, Doki Doki DaEs. Let's see that positivity on display now, shall we? I would never be like that. No matter if I have 10,000, 100,000, or a billion. We are all people at the end of the day. To look down on others because he has a small following is disgusting. Man, that's such a positive thing to say, DaEs. We should all be like you. Look, better people actually like you than whatever the fuck is going on with Jay and his following. There isn't much competition there, though. Wait a minute. I thought you said that you don't look down on smaller creators. What the hell is this? Must be some sort of mistake or something. Must be out of context. Whatever, let's move on to the next one. He's gotta go on Twitter and keep talking about you. Heck, he might already have spies from here doing that right now. That's why I'm making it public knowledge that I hate Jay Killen and Savage Sentral and their elitist side of the community. I'm sick of seeing no one else point out what they do. They're a bunch of mouth-breathing idiots. You're on the watch list. I'm on their shit list, lol. I've been on their shit list for a long time, lol. Same, I've been on there since I argued with Toon Eternal in dokituber Plaza. Huh, well none of this seems very nice at all. As a matter of fact, it seems like you have a deep-rooted hatred for Jay and Xavier, myself, and the rest of us for a very long time now. That doesn't seem very positive, now does it? Now, I've only shown you a couple of screenshots from the DAEs server from when this drama initially started, but if you were to take a look in that server, not saying you actually go and do that, as a matter of fact don't, you'll see that Jay was the focal point of the conversation for about a week straight. They literally would not shut up about this guy for a week. So that everyone is on the same page here, DaEs decided to pick a fight with Jay in dokituber Sentral. Afterwards, he runs back to his own server to shit-talk Jay, and for some reason me, despite not even being involved in this, his entire server basically became the Jay Killen hates circle jerk. All because Jay dared to make one passive-aggressive comment towards his gooner friend. So much for that positive and wholesome persona, I guess. Now, all of this could have simply been looked at as some guy who has a hate boner for someone, if it wasn't for what happened next. So remember about 5 minutes ago when I said that Sonny would tell DaEs that he has spies in his server in an attempt to fuck with him? Well, that one decision ended up being way more catastrophic than any of us could have predicted. Because this ended up putting DaEs on high alert, looking for anyone who was even remotely associated with me and Jay, and taking them out once and for all. For a day or two, DaEs would just simply cope and see in his echo chamber about how bad I am for simply existing, and how bad Jay is for trying to make him look like the bad guy for wanting a nicer community. So for the sake of brevity, let's fast forward a bit to the Thanksgiving raid incident. It was on this day that 3 evil individuals would storm the beaches of the DAYS Discord server, obviously looking to destroy the sanctity of this holy, positive place. Chaos and destruction was everywhere. The server was in complete shambles, I tell ya. But it seemed that all hope was lost, and that the evil raiders had all but succeeded. Our Lord of Positivity, Daddy DAYS, would swoop in and vanquish those evildoers with his immense positivity, saving the day for all the citizens of Positivityville. At least that's what you would come away believing if you listen to how DAYS described it. Yep, because this is what mature content creators do, setting a great example for their community. Let me gather some people to raid a server. Woo! Kill streak! Did you just ban him? Savage folk. Wow, a lot of bans. Sent them to the Shadow Realm. Because this is such a mature thing to do that shows what kind of people Jay Killin and Savage Sentral are. Even going as far as to make a server-wide announcement condemning me and Jay for attacking him like this, and on Thanksgiving of all days. Happy Thanksgiving to those that celebrate it. In other news, friends of Jay Killin and Savage Sentral, both are dokitubers, attempted to raid the server. Do you not have anything better to do on Thanksgiving? I cannot stand those guys as they bring out the negative side of the dokituber community. Savage Sentral and his community raid servers and harass people all the time. Jay Killin insults and looks down upon other creators if he doesn't deem it a masterpiece by his standards. This is all because I advocate for a DDLC community that is nicer and supports one another's creations, and called Jay Killin out for being a bullying hypocrite. For all the other dokitubers in my server, let it be known that I have no problem with any of you. Just Jay Killin and Savage Sentral.
I beg your pardon?
And I know that they will have other accounts in here to send them both screenshots, but I do not care. More people need to know what kind of people they are. My community is for having fun, being yourself, and supporting other creators. If this puts me on bad terms with the dokituber community, I am not bothered in the slightest, for I will continue to strive for a more positive space for the game I love. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
Source! My source is I made it the fuck up.
Now that you heard what DAYS has to say, let's hear what actually happened, as I was told by my resident archiver when I asked them about who exactly joined DAYS' server and what exactly was said. All the messages were deleted, unfortunately, but I did watch the quote-unquote raid happen in real time. It was 4 guys, although the last one was already there when the other 3 joined. The only conversation they made before all of a sudden being banned was a convo amongst each other about a mod where the MC is brown or something along those lines. Chat was quiet when the quote-unquote raid happened, so no one really got a chance to respond before they were banned. The most I have is the remnants, and here are said remnants. Yeah, that was a really bad raid there, buddy. Yet another win for the Nothing Ever Happens gang. Always bet on nothing. And it gets even better once you see that even the people that were online in the server at the exact same time that the quote-unquote raid occurred had no clue that a raid had even happened. DAYS and company tried to excuse this away by simply saying that we are just really bad at raiding. Now, all of this may seem a little ridiculous to anyone who actually knows what a Discord server raid is, but for those who aren't familiar with what a raid is, like potentially our boy DaEs here, allow me to give a brief explanation just so that way we're all on the same page here. Alright, settle down class. We're now in session. So, a Discord raid consists of either one or multiple people who join a server whose goal is to spam every single channel possible in said server with typically offensive shit. Can either be in text form or media, in order to make the server temporarily unusable. The goal is usually to cause as much chaos and destruction as possible within a very short amount of time before inevitably getting banned. This is at most a mild inconvenience to whatever moderators are running said server, as at the end of the day, they could really just delete all the messages as soon as they ban all the raiders. I mean, come on. But the main purpose of a raid is simply to get a reaction out of the people of said server. Think of it like another form of trolling. Now, what a professional raider would never ever do is casually chit-chat in the server that they are trying to raid, because the only thing this really accomplishes is bringing unwarranted attention to yourself, risking yourself getting banned before you even have a chance to do anything. Once again, a raider would never do this. Now, DaEs would come up with a grand excuse as to why a bunch of professional raiders did the one thing that no raider would ever do, and ended up sucking so badly this time around. It's all because DaEs's Discord server security is just so good. It's like, it's the best security out there. Ain't nobody got better security than I do. I have the best server security out of all the Discord servers. Ain't nobody penetrating my security. What's the server security, you may ask? Well, he locked embeds behind a bot that will only give you the permissions if you get to a high enough level in the server. Essentially, the bot will only give you the ability to send images and GIFs, etc. if you send enough messages in the server. This is the grand excuse that DaEs came up with as to why these guys were just simply talking in there and not doing a damn thing. It must have all been premeditated. However, that doesn't really stop anyone from just spamming racial slurs in every single text channel before getting banned. But, yeah, well, whatever makes you sleep at night, I guess. Now, maybe that really did occur, in which case DaEs would actually have a point. His reaction would have been completely justified. However, both my scout and his server, as well as the guys involved in the so-called raid, say even to this day, that when this video is out, when you're watching this right now, that they joined under their own volition and they were just casually talking in there before getting banned out of nowhere. There was no intention of a raid whatsoever. This means that someone's gotta be lying. And considering the fact that DaEs keeps saying that I and Jay coordinated this raid, despite the fact that I wasn't even online at the time, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that DaEs is a lying sack of shit that banned a few guys that are associated with me and Jay for simply joining his server and try to pin it as an attack on him. Also, he can turn around and morally grandstand to his community about how horrible me and Jay are for daring to do this to him, and how great and morally righteous he and his community is. So to quickly recap, 3 of my guys joined DaEs's Discord server on Thanksgiving Day. They would get banned anyways and falsely accused of raiding the server, and that me and Jay apparently coordinated it with no proof whatsoever. He would then proceed to gaslight every single person in his server into believing that we had orchestrated an attack on him, finishing it off with an announcement to everyone condemning our alleged actions. It's at this point that DaEs thinks he's won, and that victory is just within his grasp, and that soon all the dokitubers are going to side with him, turning against me and Jay killing and exiling us once and for all, forever saving the DDLC community. However, little did he realize, in an ironic twist of fate, his wholesome and positive community would end up being the very downfall of his holy online crusade against toxicity and elitism.
Downward spiral, 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 downward spiral.
With DaEs releasing that announcement, he had officially drawn a line in the sand. You either stand with him on the side of wanting a better community, or you're a toxic elitist asshole. Seems like a slam dunk victory, right? I mean, no one wants to be labeled a toxic asshole. Well, not quite. While DaEs was able to convince his own audience as well as his circle jerk by saying that he's a nice guy and screaming raid over and over again, he still needs to convince the people outside of his orbit that Jay is a serious problem and needs to be removed. And this is where I believe that DaEs massively underestimated his own influence. Looking back at the announcement, there is one major thing that needs to be pointed out, and that's that DaEs never says anywhere for his fans reading it to not go and harass Jay and everybody else. Keep in mind that they have been doing nothing but talking shit about Jay day in and day out at this point. So what DaEs has ended up accomplishing with this announcement is creating a hate mob against me and Jay by claiming that we're attacking them and giving no restrictions on how to deal with it. You can take a wild guess as to what ended up happening next. Even after the quote-unquote raid occurred, DaEs and co would still be on high alert, banning basically anyone that joined that looked even slightly suspicious and pin it as another dirty raider. I want to remind y'all that those 3 guys that joined were the only one of ours that ever joined. This means that everyone else that DaEs targeted was a completely innocent bystander that had nothing to do with any of this, including our good old friend of the channel, Dirt Thief. Yes, the actual real Dirt Thief, the Matthew Warren Martino, is involved in this drama. I keep telling y'all that Dirt Thief keeps finding a way to get involved in all of these dramas one way or another. Dirt Thief would just end up getting banned immediately and called an alt of ours. So even here, even amongst a bunch of people that absolutely hate my guts, they hate Dirt Thief even more. He can't win. Everyone hates Dirt Thief. Everybody hates Maad.
I love fucking children.
Anyways, one of these innocent bystanders that ended up getting lumped into all of this was someone by the name of J&T. The guy's big crime was unfortunately being a fan of Jay Killen, not a member of Sigma Central or the JQ crew. He is literally just a random guy who likes Jay's content and is in his server. This, along with being an Aesop server when I supposedly raided it, was a big enough offense to be lumped into this massive hate crusade. Speaking of Aesop, that guy has now attempted to rewrite history, claiming that I raided his server 2 months ago. And since we're on the topic, I actually have the messages from said raid, and I'm going to show them to y'all right now. But be warned, viewer discretion is advised. Alright, so boom, you got 3 Sigma Central members all joining right at the same time at 10:47 p.m. It's at this point that Ahil is on high alert, seeing my name pop up as one of the people that joined. And then bada bing bada boom, Rip Safari Boy joins right after him, making this 4 Sigma Central members joining. Ahil then asks the very important question of, is this in fact a raid? In which Sunny then joins, making this the 5th and final Sigma Central member to join Aesop's server. We then try to explain to him, like trying to explain the alphabet to an absolute retard, that this is in fact not a raid and we are just simply chilling and vibing. Ahil then hits us with the, a couple of people joining from the same group could be considered a raid, in which I gotta say, that's a load of bullshit. At this point, realizing that he is just absolutely completely felted, he then hits us with the, I no longer feel safe here, makes a tactical retreat, and that is basically the end of this entire conversation. Yeah, this is pretty much it.
Really, nigga?
Yeah, being told by these supposed raiders that you're in fact not being raided and they're just talking and hanging around like normal people is like the #1 sign of a raid. Everyone knows this, right? In all seriousness, we all had played Aesop's Sayori breastfeeding mod as a joke and wanted to just talk to the big guy himself. And considering that we were in his server for more than a few weeks, as a matter of fact, and pretty much barely talked in there after that night, it's safe to say that there wasn't actually a raid based on our previously established definition. Just because 5 friends join a server at the same time and do literally nothing doesn't mean you're under attack. God, these people are bigger drama queens than me, I swear. And I literally made a career off of drama. But if you thought that the bannings and slanderous claims were gonna be contained to just DAEs' server, you'd be sorely mistaken, because DAEs would not only endorse, but would himself go around to various other DDLC related servers in an attempt to get not only Jay, but all of us banned as well. First, starting with the Epiphany server. And since these guys already hated Jay for him criticizing their mod in the past, they didn't really need much convincing at all to pull the trigger. And as a matter of fact, when Icicles reported back that he had gotten all of us banned, DAEs celebrated like he had just won the fucking lottery. Got them banned from the Epiphany server. W Icicles. Yeah, that's the perks of knowing basically everyone in the community. Gross losers. Now I can go back to not caring about them. Imagine flexing that you got people banned from a Discord server all because they said mean words to someone you like. This is honestly some of the most petty, pathetic, and terminally online shit I have ever seen in my entire life. My goodness. And on Thanksgiving Day of all days, man, like, come on. I mean, DAEs keeps screeching on and on and on about how we have nothing better to do and that we have no lives whatsoever. But I could honestly say the same thing to you, DAEs. Do you honestly have anything better to do on Thanksgiving Day than to go around and obsess over another man all fucking day long, to the point of going into random Discord servers they're in and crying wolf and pleading to the moderators that they ban them? You're fucking delusional, man. I kid you not, DAEs would go to the moderators of the r/DDLC Discord and cry that Jay Killen raided me. Here's all the Discord IDs, do whatever you want with them. Leading to 3 people getting banned, including J&T, mind you. Again, completely innocent bystander, had nothing to do with anything. All for fictitious made-up raids that DAEs conjured up in his fucking head. And of course, the moderators bought it hook, line, and fucking sinker, all because my name was conjured up and evoked into this stupid fucking online drama for no reason at all. Completely innocent people got caught up in all of this online shit flinging for literally nothing. Oh, but y'all are the mature ones. Yeah. Got it, buddy. This was nowhere near the end of it. The harassment stretched far beyond just server bannings, as DAEs would successfully rally his audience to start targeting Jay and Xavier themselves, with one of the Epiphany server moderators going into Jay's DMs and telling him, and I quote, "Your friends sure are nice. Tell them to kill themselves before it's too late, you subhuman apes."
What do you mean by that?
A comment that, when you take in the context that it was sent to a black man, comes off as so deeply hateful and racist that he might as well have just called him a
Black spear chucking piece of shit!
It honestly would have had the same effect at this point, let's be real. So imagine you're one of these dokitubers, observing this complete utter shitstorm from the sidelines. After witnessing DAEs' immense positivity on full display. He's now trying and pressure you into picking a side. Do you choose the side of positivity, or do you choose the side of toxicity and hate? Let's see what they ended up choosing.
You don't have a job, you don't have a job. Yes, I don't have a job. So what? I passed it with your first class marks, but no job because I don't have a reservation. I have every qualification, but no job because I don't have a recommendation. I have knowledge, but no job because I refuse to pay a bribe. What do you think? Our jobless people are dying? If I don't have a job, I can't drive. I have a courage and I have a potentiality. That's enough. I can lead my life. I can lead my life. No need anything.
Just as quickly as DAYS' hate campaign got going, it came to a screeching halt just a day later. By indiscriminately targeting and slandering anyone with even the loosest association to Jay Killen, DAYS had now turned Jay and company from the perpetrators to the victims in this situation, and vice versa. By this point, the other dokitubers that DAYS was trying to appeal to were starting to take notice of everything that was happening, and upon learning of everything that I've shown you so far, one brave soul, that being Yandere Gaming, would attempt to reason with the king of positivity. An attempt to try and de-escalate the situation from getting any worse by basically saying, yo, I've seen everything that's happened, this has gone way too far, and I think you should stop what you're doing. Unfortunately for Yandere, disagreeing with the king is not very positive, and it would put him in a very bad mood for the rest of the day. I have lost faith in the dokituber community. You never saw the dokituber chat, unfortunately. I read something that has really ruined my mood. Yep, even Yandere Gaming. That's the worst part in my opinion. I looked up to Yandere, and he was one of my inspirations. He tried to say it was my fault. He's friends with Jay Killen, so obviously he's a saint in his eyes.
It's not ignorance. We can literally show direct evidence, and Yandere was on his streams where he slandered people.
Actually, those last two messages were from 2 days later. He was still coping about it. Remember, this is a fully grown man we're talking about. So after seeing Yandere fail in stopping DAYS' massive crash out and it becoming abundantly clear he wasn't gonna stop anytime soon, the decision ended up being an easy one. DAYS!
You're fired!
He was promptly banned from the very server that all of this started in, which would actually make the second time that he's been banned from a dokituber related server for pulling the same fucking shit. Of course, DAYS and company would not take too kindly to this and would immediately start schizo posting about how me and Jay are basically the DDLC Mossad that's controlling everyone and forcing them to do our bidding from behind the scenes. The co-bidding got so crazy that they tried arguing that Sanzi, the guy who ran the server and owns the damn place, was actually completely powerless now that you think about it. He's not actually the one in control. It's actually Jay Killen. Jay is the one pulling the strings, bro. Sanzi has no power at all. He's gotta bow down to Jay's whim. All of this is because DAYS got banned. That's literally it. I guarantee you that if Jay was the one who got banned, these guys would be jumping up and down, celebrating like, "Oh, Sanzi, you did the right thing. I knew he was a good guy, but since he banned DAYS instead, he's actually a weak, pathetic worm that's under Jay's control." These people, man, I swear, they're not real. But don't you worry, guys, it was all worth it. DAYS may have been banned from the last possible dokituber related social space. He may have been completely ostracized for his childlike man-child antics. But don't you worry, it was all worth it, because at least Jay was banned from the DDLC Discord. That should tell you that at least some people don't glaze the living god Jay Killing Gaming. And it's gone.
What?
It's gone. The bans were reversed. That's right, Jay and JNT were unbanned after just one day. Not even a day. All it took was 200 screenshots and a little bit of convincing, and the moderators were on our side. Which is an absolutely insane thing to say, that the r/DDLC moderators are on my side in a drama. You know you fucked up when you got them agreeing with me. It's like, considering the fact that they absolutely hate my fucking guts. That's fucking crazy. That's wild, bro. So in the end, all of this crying and coping and seething about fictitious raids was all for nothing. And now DAYS and his band of your fucked can mold and cope and seethe about how the entire DDLC community is a cult that bows down to the Black Messiah known as Jay Killing Gaming. And like sand through the hourglass, so are the DAYS of Our Lolcows.
Also, Triple Trouble. I can't stand the mod. I played it about halfway through, stopped playing it. Actually, I might play it on live, actually. That'll be a fun stream. Especially, I don't get along with the creator of the mod because he goes completely against what I believe in. I think it's better to support creators, whereas his criticism just is straight up slander and shit talking, insulting. But I won't go too much into that, and obviously don't go out of your way to harass him on stream. I've got to say that.
Forgot to tell you. Yeah.
I've been watching all of them. Like, I've been watching dokitubers from the start. Yandere Gaming, Doki Guy.
Yep, even Yandere Gaming. That's the worst part, in my opinion. I looked up to Yandere, and he was one of my inspirations.
What is your biggest regret since you started YouTube? Obviously, you joined the Discord. What is your biggest regret? I think I might have made it clear already, but my biggest regret starting YouTube is interacting with a certain group of dokitubers that obviously I've mentioned earlier in this stream. You all know who I'm talking about. Because there was, if you're on my server, there was his community and Savage Sentral. Well, I've just named one of them.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
So, what did we learn today? Don't go around preaching about how positive and virtuous you are, and then go around attacking whoever you want because you just simply don't like them. If you're gonna constantly go on and on and on and on and on about the power of positivity, then demonstrate it through your actions. You can say that you're a nice and positive guy all you want, but if you don't practice what you preach, people are gonna take notice. There are quite a few examples of dokitubers that actually practice the rhetoric that DAYS virtue signals to his audience all the time. For example, Brunurk, Doki Guy. Well, considering that DAYS sees Yandere as such an inspiration, I'll throw him on this list as well. You can't find really a single negative thing that has come from any of these guys. Why? Because they actually practice what DAYS preaches. They don't get into petty squabbles over complete bullshit. They don't go and harass and bully people that they don't like. They're genuinely nice and positive people. Hell, Bernurk treated a guy who wanted him exterminated solely based off the color of his skin better than what DaEs treated Jay and company. That says a lot. Personally, I put Bernurk's video on Shadow of the Red Panda, or Kazuo, whatever you want to call him, on a pedestal as the gold standard of how to positively critique someone. And the reason why is, even though Kazuo is a complete mega racist and everyone has the right to hate him and his beliefs, Bernurk constantly throughout the entire video reminds the audience over and over again to not go and harass and antagonize him, because hatred only fuels more hatred. And for another example, Yandere Gaming, his coverage of the Yuri Jackson situation. I don't recall a single instance of Yandere telling the audience to go and tell this guy to fucking kill himself or anything like that, to harass him, call him a piece of shit or whatnot. Even though Jackson was a completely schizophrenic freak who was going around saying how he wanted to shoot up his school and whatnot, and trying to get people to cut themselves. Yandere treated a wannabe school shooter better than DaEs treated Jay for simply saying mean words to a guy he likes. That is crazy. And it's also just the sheer pettiness of all this drama too, for DaEs to get so worked up over literally nothing is wild to me. And the fact that DaEs for some reason felt the need to conjure up my name in all of this, despite the fact that I haven't even thought of the guy, I've never uttered his name publicly, but for some reason, he can't shut up about me. If he just simply does not talk about me and just kept it strictly to his petty squabble with Jay, I never even make this. This is just, at most, a stream segment and nothing else. The fact that he keeps on constantly regurgitating that I'm attacking him, that I'm so awful, despite the fact that I have never said anything about him. I've never said anything about Aesop, really. The only one who I've said anything about is Ahil, and that's only because he went after me first. If DaEs just simply chooses not to involve me in any of this petty bullshit, someone who has no ties in it whatsoever, this video doesn't even get made. So congratulations, DaEs. I don't know if you were trying to invoke some sort of response out of me, but here you go. I hope you're happy. I know that DaEs is not going to take any of this criticism at face value and it's going to completely ignore it all and keep pretending that everything that he was doing was actually for the betterment of the community. He did it for y'all. He did it to make everything better and more positive, and make a more positive and welcoming space for everyone. But DaEs, I want you to genuinely look me in the eye as I am saying this. Look at the things that I have covered in this video, the things that you inspired other people to do, as well as things that you did yourself, and I want you to genuinely tell me with a straight face, look me in the eye, tell me in all seriousness, was the actions that you have taken against Jay indicative of wanting a more positive community? Did the things that you said and did actually contribute to achieving this goal? I can speak for me and everybody else when I say that I think it achieved the exact opposite. It's genuinely crazy to see that the one person who actually showed any sort of maturity and accountability in this entire situation was actually Ahil, issuing out a lengthy community post announcing that he's distancing himself from the entire drama and wants nothing to do with it. And you know what? I can honestly respect it. To recognize the foolishness of the situation in front of you and choosing not to involve yourself is incredibly commendable. I know a lot of people that have genuinely gotten trapped in the drama bubble, in the toxic circle of hate. If you participate in it, it can genuinely just keep on going on and on and on and on and on forever. So in choosing to be the bigger person in the situation, it's incredibly commendable. And I just honestly wish that your friends saw things the way that you do. This video was not made to dogpile or incite a hate campaign of my own, as my many disclaimers should have made pretty clear. I made this video simply as a warning to the dangers of being caught up in a toxic, hate-filled echo chamber, where any action you may take is justified and for the betterment of everyone because you genuinely believe that you're on the right side of history. I should know this because I've played these games before. DAYS, you're not saving the DDLC community. You're just simply another asshole.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.